Hello, everybody out there, and welcome everyone to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. Got lots to talk about for this episode, but first, let's introduce ourselves. You guys know me. I'm Mike, due to Rock 18. To my direction this way is Kat at Comic Uno.
Hey guys, what's up?
Below us is the return of Mike at Comic Book Corner 2.0.
Hey guys, what's up? It's not the official return, but I'm making my appearance tonight.
Yes, and we're glad to
close,
have
right? You have one more week, right?
I got one more week at tennis camp, and then I'll be back on the normal basis.
Yes, we have Brand at Last Ember Press, who should be possibly popping on tonight, but unfortunately, Chris at Dog Race CA6 won't be coming on tonight, but hopefully he'll be on next week. And before we continue, I just want to congratulate both Kat and Mike for reaching their subscriber goals. Kat has reached 14,000 subscribers, and Mike has reached 7,000.
Yeah, it was funny because Kat was like, I reached 14,000, so I was like, oh, let me check mine, and then I was like, oh shit, I'm only 6 away. But then as the day went along, I wound up hitting that 7,000 mark. So I was like, oh, so we just hit milestones today, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, so before we went to news, I just want to congratulate the both of you for your subscriber goal of making it there, because you guys do amazing videos and lots of hard work that you put into them. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Right. Well, we'll get into news, right?
Yes,
I was going to say, we'll get into the news. Yeah. So we have news from last week as well. I guess we should apologize for missing last week's show. As the Life Grip mentioned, I broke my foot. Mike's been doing his summer camp. Brand's in the mix of moving. Chris had a busy week, and Michael, he only had read 3 books. So we're just like, you know what? We're going to cancel this show. And this week we had a couple more people. We're still in the mix of, I still have the broken foot. Mike is still doing the summer camp, and Brand is still in the mix of moving, but this week was a little bit better for us to be on it. So, yes.
Yep.
Thank you for understanding, because we've canceled the show, I think, twice now in like a month, just because of this craziness.
It's kind of like, kind of like how summer TV goes, where you don't, always get your favorite show, or it's not always on all the time, or you get reruns and stuff like that. So it's like our fall season will start in like a couple of weeks.
Exactly. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks we will be back and have everybody, because I don't remember the last time we've had everybody on.
Oh my God, a really long time. The whole summer, basically.
Yeah, it's been at least 2 months, I think. It's been pretty crazy. Absolutely. And hopefully we'll be back with full panels as well. We got Brant on as we speak. Brant. Maybe he's on. There we go. Whoa. Such a different background.
Wow. He's got that redness going on.
Yeah. He's got rage.
He's like, I'm happy to have my desk and my chair in my room right now. That's probably where we're looking at right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's weird. I'm out of practice with this, so it's going to be odd.
Well, we all are. So it's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
You got internet, though. That's good.
Yeah. I'm actually a little surprised. Because it was going out earlier, but
well, let's not jinx it. Emery has a question. I
was gonna say we still need to hook up an extender, because my office is like on the clear other side of the house and upstairs, so it's like, but so far I got 4 bars, so I'm good.
That's good.
Hopefully it's better than what it used to be. We got damn, we already got $2. Thank you, sweet.
Sweet.
Thank you, sweet. That's awesome.
Sweet.
Oh wow, thank you.
We also have a question from Emery. I guess maybe they're new. Do you all answer questions? Are you talking to us, or are you all just going to chat between yourself? No, we answer questions too. So like I just responded to yours. Obviously during the show, we can't answer every comment, but we tried the best we can. And we answer throughout, honestly, the whole show. So if you have questions and we think it's interesting to talk about, or if you have a comment and we think it's interesting, we might highlight it, or we might actually talk about it as well. So let's get into the news. I know what I was saying before is that we have news from last week. That's what I was. That's why I had that whole entire spiel. But the first thing from last week was G4 returns. That was kind of a shocker. I remember I watched G4 as a kid. I would watch Ninja Warrior on there, and of course Attack of the Show. I had like a shirt from Comic-Con from Attack of the Show. I remember when they were doing their little signings over there when Comic-Con like wasn't as big as it is now. So I love G4. My brother always, as a kid, he's like, you should like be on that show. And he's like, even today is like today as in this year, it's like, oh, well, now it's back. You should be on it. I'm like, no. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see the stuff we talk about like on TV again. And I think it's better time than it was back then.
I was a huge fan of G4. I used to love that because that was in my like really playing into video games at the time and not reading comics. And but who were the two hosts that were on there? God, I don't remember their names. But
on X-Play or the Attack of the Show?
On X-Play.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like but whatever it was the girl and the guy. They always do they would always do like the show or whatever it was. And then like they would always give the rating of the video game. And he was like, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. And so when I started doing YouTube videos, I wanted to sound like that guy, even though the show wasn't even on anymore. I was like, I'm going to be like that guy that was on that show. That's
funny.
Yeah, it is. I was like, I don't know. I like the way his voice sounded on TV. So I was like, I wanted to be like him. But that show was really good, and I really liked it. The whole channel, it was really a lot of fun, So they used to broadcast San Diego Comic-Con on there.
They did the whole the walkthrough and all that stuff, and they would cover panels and different things.
Yes,
like that, so.
Mike Manhattan hit it. Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Yeah, I knew Morgan Webb. I couldn't think of the guy. Yeah, and then of course Olivia Munn and Kevin,
someone with a P.
Yeah. That guy on Attack of the Show, and then like go back to like the early days of G4, and they had like all kinds of programming on there. It was all kinds of video game programming. And then it kind of it started being like Cops and and stuff like that.
I didn't mind watching Cops as a kid because I was like, oh, I'm so cool, I'm watching Cops. But now it's been canceled. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, there was, like I said before, Ninja Warrior is on there. That was they changed it to like the next day after G4 was canceled. They changed it to the Esquire network. So it was just like I don't even know what they were showing on there. Yeah. I think it was still Cops and I guess Ninja Warrior, but just a lot of Cops. It actually just became the Cops.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into. Oh, we're gonna say. Brian.
I was gonna say G4 was a little bit before its time, just a little bit. But
yeah, like maybe 5 years beforehand. Yeah. It was interesting. And then they just made a documentary, and I think honestly that was a big push to show how much interest was in G4. All right, let's go to The Walking Dead returns for more season 10 episodes, but here's the twist. They're airing the finale, and then I guess the next ones are just bonus episodes. So I think they're airing the finale first.
Yeah, that's the way I read it was the finale's coming in October. And then the bonus, like 4 or 6 episodes, whatever it was, is in 2021. So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm really happy that they're actually showing more episodes because we haven't seen lots of Walking Dead. And it would only make sense, though, that if they showed the finale and then other bonus levels, that would actually catch up the viewers who watch The Walking Dead to see what's going on. Or try to remember from months ago what happened to previous point.
I mean, I'm glad that they're showing The Walking Dead. I haven't watched it like since the Whisperer season. I don't know if we're still on the Whisperers at this point. Yeah, are we? So that just seems like forever ago now. You know what I'm saying? And so I got through halfway of that season, and then that's when I just stopped watching it. And so I don't know. It's run its course for me. It really has. And
I understand that because I did the same thing. I dropped off in the second episode of Negan. After
I think that's where I dropped off too. After
Yeah.
Glenn died?
Yeah, after Glenn and Abraham, and then I was bored and I had nothing to watch not too long ago, and I like binged at all of it. So I'm caught up now. But,
I think when Rick died, I think that's what did it in for. Well, he didn't die, but that's what it did it in for me because it's how do you take him out of this show? You know what I'm saying? His kid is dead. He's dead. What's the point? Like he was the main character, the main guy, you know, and it's just like the show's not the same. It doesn't explore the characters.
Movies. Don't worry, his movies are coming out. His movies are coming out.
We'll see.
You know when?
Never.
2030.
When the next season of Walking Dead airs. And not the current season. All right, let's go to the next thing, which is Superman black suit revealed for the Snyder Cut. They actually showed like a clip from it.
Yeah, I actually liked how they I mean, it kind of looks like just the regular Superman, but it's just painted, black and white. Like usually it would be, from what I remember from the animated series, like the Superman S would kind of stand out a little bit more, but it's just like I feel they just took the Superman costume that he wore and just painted over it, black and white. Like nothing's changed or made it look, I mean, it looks good. I mean, don't get me wrong, because the black and white made it like, when he returned from the dead, but I think it looks pretty cool when I saw it.
I thought it looked pretty cool too. I mean, it's kind of obviously it represents what happened, and it's kind of like it's supposed to be like what it was in the comic book, when he comes back to life. And I thought it looked cool. I do want to see this whole Snyder Cut thing. I just want to see what it's about. And
you want to watch 3 hours of the Snyder Cut?
Is it going to be continuous 3 hours, or are they going to release it in segments?
I don't know. I didn't hear if they were going to release it in segments, but I know the whole thing is supposed to be like really, really long.
Supposed to be. Oh boy, I am curious. Like, if it's out there, I'm going to want to see it. I think maybe not right when it comes out. Like, I'm not in no rush, but I definitely would want to see like his vision of that movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we will see. I don't know if I have the guts to do it, but you'll have to let us know if you end up watching it all.
I'm going to just tell you it was the best movie ever, so you sit there and watch it.
I still watch it probably.
I mean, I've thought about it, but I'm like, I just can't.
What have you watched that was 3 hours long that you tolerated, Kat?
That was 3 hours long that I tolerated. Probably Avengers Endgame. That was like 3 hours long.
Yeah, and that was a good movie. Yeah,
No, wow. I liked it. I enjoyed it. There's not many 3 hour movies I could sit through, but I don't even really binge watch TV for that reason.
People will probably sit there and go, "What is wrong with you, Mike?" But one movie that I have never seen all the way through is Avatar. Because
I don't think that's crazy at all.
I can totally understand that. Yeah.
I haven't seen it at all yet.
And there's no desire for me to see it. Like, I've seen lots of it, and I'm like, what has made this movie such a phenomenon that people love it so much,
It was the effects back in the day. Now I think if you watch it, it's still like a pretty movie. It's a very imaginative movie, but I don't think it hits as hard as it did back then.
No.
So I understand. And honestly, it is very long, and it does not need to be that long. I think I watched that in 2 parts. I don't think I watched it from beginning to end.
Right.
Very long. All right, let's get into the next thing, which is Death in the Family animated interactive movie. This is also from last week, but we definitely want to discuss this. I don't know how to feel about this, just because we had Under the Red Hood, and I love that movie. I think it's great, and I don't really need to see it again. But I do like the idea that it's interactive just because of the history of Death in the Family and that people voted for Jason to die. So I'm
But
still.
what makes it interactive though? Like, what's the
They
point
get
of
to
it?
choose if he dies or not. Like, there's all different. It's like kind of like what Netflix does with Black Mirror and some of their other movies.
Yeah.
You're like, does Jason die? Does he live? And then you get to see the movie if he lived, and then you watch through that. And then if he died, you could pick that,
So-
that end.
So they're capturing what they actually did in the comic books at the time.
Except
Yeah.
kind of better
Okay.
because you actually get to see both parts.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
So, I mean, I think
Different.
that's cool. And I'll give it a shot.
It's different.
Yeah.
But we already had this movie, so why couldn't they
True.
pick something
Yeah.
else?
And Under the Red Hood is like one of my favorite DC animated movies. I love that movie. It was so good.
We do have Mike Manhattan. Oh, I agree with you. I think it's the best DC anime movie. Mike Manhattan next. What about Godfather, Seven Samurai, and Deer Hunter? Out of those three, I've only seen The Godfather. And I have
I've seen The Godfather many times.
I feel like if you're a New York Italian, you've seen Godfather at least once.
I'm
Godfather,
not
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Godfather movies personally. I think they're boring.
I like Goodfellas more than Godfather.
Yes.
You know
yes.
what movie that I see on TV or a lot when I'm flipping through the channels recently is Casino.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually, and now that I'm older and I see it, I actually like it better than I did obviously when I was younger. It's a really good movie.
We do
That's,
have. I'm trying to read through the comments at the same. What are you gonna say, Brian? Sorry.
I was gonna say is that Pacino, Casino or not Pacino?
No, that's
not Pacino. That's a Godfather. God, I can't
What's
think of his
his
name.
I'll look it up for you guys. Casino.
played in Goodfellas.
I know you're talking about too, and I can't think of his name.
Oh my
Joe
god,
Pesci.
Robert De Niro.
Why
yeah,
is
Robert
it-
De Niro.
Yeah, right. De
Yeah,
Niro.
Robert
Yeah,
De
that's who
Niro.
I meant. Yeah, jeez. Wow.
And
then,
Sharon Stone.
And then what's his face that played in Home Alone, the bad guy?
Oh, Joe
Yeah.
Pesci.
Yeah, Joe Pesci. Yeah,
Yeah, and he played also My Cousin Vinny, Joe Pesci.
yeah.
And that was a
And
really
Sharon
funny
Stone
movie.
is in it too. So yeah, it's a good movie.
Oh, what
Yeah.
about Scarface by Al Pacino? I really love that movie.
Scarface
I
is
actually
good
haven't
too.
seen it.
Yeah,
You haven't
I
seen Scarface?
You gotta see it. It is amazing.
I know how it
Scarface.
ends.
I
Well, we don't know
think
how it
everybody
ends.
knows how it ends.
Everyone knows. Say hello to my
Michelle
little friend.
Pfeiffer is in that movie when she was like really young.
Yeah.
Scarface
like,
aged
yeah.
terribly. Probably did. Scarface aged terribly. Ancient Mariner says.
Hey, it's still good. It's still a classic though.
Yeah.
We also had a question about the Jason Todd thing. Which are you going to choose?
Well, obviously live because we've
Both of
seen what happens when he
I
dies.
see both of them.
I probably would like, depending if the movie's good. I think my first
Yeah.
choice will be Let's See Him Live because I saw Under
Yeah.
the Red Hood. I'm good. But
Yeah.
if I really like the movie, I might rewatch it and like pick the other. Which is what's
Right.
kind of cool about this is that there's definitely very much a rewatchability for sure. People are in the comments are just mentioning all these really long ass movies. They're like, oh, God, no.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings.
Irishman.
All the other things.
Lord of the Rings is awesome. I love him.
Oh, I will not watch Lord of the Rings.
I've watched this so
Just
many
get ready for
times.
war. That's all I
I have not seen that movie either.
Wow.
Lord of the Rings.
I saw it theater opening weekend. And
I
then
only
I've
saw
seen
half
it
of
dozens of times since.
Yeah.
I've seen only half of it.
If I can't watch Game of Thrones, I don't think I'm gonna like Lord of the Rings. That's where I'm at. All right, let's get into some movie stuff. Actually TV stuff, but awards, which is Emmys that are gonna obviously be socially distant, and I think kind of video type award ceremony this year. But Mandalorian gets 15 Emmy nominations, and Watchmen gets a lot too. I didn't get the number, but there was a ton of Watchmen nominations. And I just wanted to discuss it because it's cool to see like genre TV shows getting the respect they deserve, and like seeing a Disney Plus show get so many nominations. Watchmen, I'm not so surprised just because of the creators behind it, and you know they already kind of have the highbrow thing going for them. And Watchmen in general is so highbrow, but I think Mandalorian was the big surprise for me.
Watchmen was also so ingrained in what's going on in current culture too. So it's just like, you know, I was surprised about Mandalorian. Mandalorian's a really well written show. So congrats to both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked too when I saw this news piece and I saw Mandalorian get all those nominations. I'm like, really? Like, I guess I mean, it's a good show, but I don't feel like it was like the best show ever. And then I kind of wonder if it was like, is Baby Yoda using the Force on all these guys to
I think so.
create these Emmy nominations?
These
I
are the
mean,
Emmys you're looking
I
for.
really enjoyed the show, and it was very creative. I just didn't expect it to be as as award possibly winning as it is going to be.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the big topic that came out today, and that is that Mulan's being released on Disney Plus with an additional fee. So you already got Disney Plus, you are paying for Disney Plus, and they said, you know what, you need to pay an extra $30 to watch this movie. And I said, hell no,
$30?
I'm good. Yes, you pay for Disney Plus. That's not enough. They're like, give me another $30.
Why $30? That's outrageous.
Because they know you can pack your family, and so they feel like it's an equivalent to a family of four's movie ticket. So if your movie ticket costs $10 a person, that's $40. So I'm sure that's where they came up with that, kind of that price tag, because it's like $10 each plus you paying for your subscription. So it comes close to $40. I agree. I think it's way overpriced. I understand that what they're trying to do there to try to make their money back, for all the cost of the movie that they made.
They shouldn't have done this then.
But
just wait a year.
They can't. I agree. I think it should not be done. Or if you release it, you don't release it at $30 a pop, because no one's going to watch it for $30.
Well, honestly,
I think.
I would say if you're gonna release it for $30 a pop, don't make it exclusive to Disney Plus. I'd rather pay the $30 if I know it's just kind of I'm buying a DVD pretty much,
Exactly.
Like, okay, I'm buying a movie, but it's digital. Fine, I'll pay $30 for that. But I'm also paying $10 for Disney Plus, whatever it is.
Yeah. Otherwise, just do it like an on demand, like charge like $7 or something like that for it.
Yeah,
But it's like renting a movie.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with you, Brian. I think if you just charge $7 and it's just like $7, you get it for 2 days, done. Be done with it.
Yeah, right.
It is a lot of money. It's crazy. And then I heard, wasn't there like the rumors about Black Widow too, about being charged for $30?
And New Mutants, which New Mutants I think makes so much more sense to be on demand at this point because it's been so delayed, and it's just like it's not a Black Widow.
$30 for that movie.
I would hope that would just be on Disney Plus because no, thank you. But they're waiting on that for something. We do have a comment, which kind of goes into what Mike was saying. Emery says, "I spent $100 before the coronavirus in an IMAX theater for me and my son and my wife." I agree, but like a lot of people now these days have like the AMC stubs or like what used to be the movie pass. So a lot of people don't spend that money anymore because they just pay a flat fee. That's what I did with the movies. I paid $20 a month, and I got to see 3 movies a week, and also get like discounts on like snacks and stuff. So I only had to pay $20, and I got to see a lot of movies. So that's why I'm like, in the day and age we live in, this is not reasonable.
Right. Yeah, I forget which one I have, but I have one of those same things, and I would get in. I'd like save so much up, I could get just like a popcorn and a drink for free. So
yeah,
I just remember using the Regal card when I saw my last Regal. Regal. Yeah, like the Sonic. That's the only thing I remember seeing, Sonic, and then just getting popcorn, soda, and boom, I was good.
Yep.
I miss Stubbs A-List. It's so far still exists. Why would people spend $30 on New Mutants? No, my argument wasn't to spend $30. It was just to put it on Disney Plus and not no one should spend $30 on anything. No. Maybe the closest thing would be Black Widow, but I don't even think I would spend $30 on Black Widow. That one at least kind of makes sense. But Mulan is already a movie that we know the story of. It's a remake of a movie.
Yeah, but, it's just a live action.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a live action because they did it for Lion King. They did it for Aladdin.
I know the story. I don't need to pay $30
for it. See the cartoon version of it then.
Exactly. Right. I'll just rewatch it. I was already on the fence for Mulan, and I wanted to support it because I like I like the movie, but Disney's making it hard for me to want to support. But yeah, let's get into now the comics, because we got some interesting news here. We'll save the Scott Snyder stuff for last. But first up, according to cover artist, the Mary Jane's has been canceled, which, like, I'm surprised it became an ongoing book. Like, I liked it enough to pick it up, but I didn't love it. And I think there's definitely some cracks in that book that could have made it better. But yeah, I'm not surprised by that. And we also had Ghost Rider that was canceled. I'm worried about Runaways, very much so, like very, very worried about Runaways. But I think it would be really interesting if they made Runaways a graphic novel exclusive, just kind of following like the Image side, just because it's Rainbow, who's already, in the book market. And it does very well in trades. So I think that would be really interesting. I don't think they'll do it. I do think it's going to get canceled, but I hope it doesn't.
That would be cool if they just like did like a seasonal, just one and done trade, just like a graphic novel, not trade, but a graphic novel, just original story.
Yeah. And I feel like for that franchise, it works so well.
Yeah. Mary Jane, though. Yeah, go
ahead, Brad. Sorry.
Mike.
Sorry.
I was
Mary Jane. Mary Jane. I was gonna go with Mary Jane too, and I was gonna say it's an excuse not to keep her in the Amazing Spider-Man title. They're like, let's put Amazing Spider-Man, let's put Mary Jane in there, and it was just this, thing. It's like, yeah, Mary Jane's back, but not really back. So we'll just give her own title. So I'm actually happy that it's canceled. So maybe they can bring her back in the main title again.
Yeah, I mean, they had to make him feel alone, even though he's surrounded by people, Mike. Yeah, so it's not surprising. The only thing was surprising, like you said, Kat, was that it was made an ongoing. It's like, what? This should have just been like a fun little side story and just leave it at that.
And also, it's going to ruin the Amazing Spider-Man storylines because she's still gone and she hasn't come back. So, like, whatever Nick Spencer is doing, I don't think he was going to write her to come back and be like, oh, I'm back from the movies. I think that book would have said what was going on, and then we would see her.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully she comes back sooner or later for Spider-Man. But like I said, I don't see it happening because that's been written, multiple issues, especially because it's double shipped. All right, let's get into the next thing, which is Matthew Rosenberg is going to be joining the Amazing Spider-Man writing team, which I think is cool that we'll be a co-writer. Yeah, and I like him. I think he's great. So I'm happy.
I think you need I know obviously Spencer has his plan of what he's going to do with Spider-Man, but I think we need an additional writer to the book to give it something a little bit more. I just been saying for a while now that Spider-Man it lacks that next level that it's supposed to have, right? Like, it just seems like it's a comic book that's there, and it seems like it's been trying to build to something, but it can't quite do that, right? And so the only thing you're kind of hanging your hat on and waiting for is Kindred. And if Kindred doesn't deliver, this will be an epic fail for Nick Spencer. So I just feel like it's time to get that reveal going and to see where he is truly going with this run. So, I mean, that's how I feel about it. And so hopefully our co-writer here gives him a little kick in the ass and say, all right, let's get going.
Yeah. I hope we get to Kindred soon.
It is. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, we're 45 issues in at this point. It's like, sorry, I might be on a slight delay. I apologize if I am.
No, you seem good to me.
I think I might be too.
Yeah.
I think I might be just because my lights almost went out.
Okay. So it might be the storm there. Yeah.
Which I don't even get because the storm's been over and the lights were still been flickering. So something's going on. All right, let's go into. Did you have anything else you want to say, Brent?
No.
Okay. Let's go into the DC launches a new event called Endless Winter. Let me see if I can get some info here about it. We know it's called Endless Winter, and that's about it. It's coming out in December for the Endless Winter that we're probably going to have. And there's another DC event, and I don't know if I could care.
It's going to be about winter time. So maybe this basically takes place after, or is it? Maybe it's during Metal, isn't it? Maybe I don't even know.
I think they overlap a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
When's Metal over? I thought it.
I think it's not till February. I think.
God.
So and this takes, when is this coming out?
December. Yeah.
December. So makes sense because it's wintertime.
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe in death metal they have some kind of, ice world or something like that, and it kind of crosses over. I don't know, who knows, or maybe it's just some kind of a story that's not canon. I don't know, but I'll check it out. I'll see what it is all about. It could be all right. Who knows? I feel like it's kind of a copy of like the Dark Ages from Marvel. I feel like those two events are very similar in my opinion.
Yeah, it's gonna be Icicle and Mr. Freeze and all these Killer Frost.
People.
All the snow.
I don't.
Throwing Weather Wizard there because they don't have enough.
He just gets icicle powers somehow. Well, that's going to be in December. Look forward to that. Moving on to Fantastic Four has the antithesis. We'll have, the Fantastic Four antithesis, which has already been announced, will have a major impact on Galactus. I hope you guys are excited. Hope you love your Galactus. I won't be reading it.
It's interesting that they're introducing a character that's the opposite of Galactus. I think what else can you do with Galactus? You've done everything you could possibly do with Galactus at this point, right? So, except that. So, yeah.
Yeah, why not? I'll check it out too. Any Fantastic Four story, I'm going to try to give it an honest try and see what it's about. He's a major character for them, so who knows? Again, sometimes these things could surprise you. It could be a really good book, and you're like, wow. So it doesn't hurt to try, right?
It definitely doesn't hurt to try. We'll see where it goes. But let's get.
I'm not trying it.
I'm not. I'll try the Endless Winter before I try the antithesis. I'm one Fantastic Four book's enough for me. I do not need another one. And Cosmic Marvel, don't sign me up. Sign me up to wherever doesn't get me to Cosmic Marvel because I don't need it. I already dropped Empire. But let's talk about some Scott Snyder. So 2 news pieces, obviously our main title, and then also that he's aiming to revive the DC Writing Workshop, which actually might kind of coincide with him leaving. So yes, the thumbnail says Scott Snyder is leaving. He's not leaving DC as an exclusive contract with them, but he is leaving for the most part, the main line of DC. So you're not going to see like a Batman flagship title from him or any really flagship title. It's going to be like all side stories or like his own Black Label thing. He's probably going to do, I'm guessing, more creator-owned stuff with the Black Label as well because he has his American Vampire ending. So I think it's interesting about him also like DC's losing a lot of people right now. You don't even have Scott Snyder do any of the main stuff. But then, what do you do after Metal? I think you could kind of see that he's been kind of worn out, and I think it's interesting. Workshop topic, but I don't think comics in general have enough opportunities for comic creators to really get into something like DC or Marvel. And I think for people who've like been in the indie game, this is a really great stepping stone to hopefully get your name out there and learn from the best of the best. So, and hopefully, with these type of workshops, you also hope that's not just like, I took this class and they don't actually help you out. Because I feel like a lot of people have taken these classes and you don't really see their name on the next big DC books. I hope there's also a push to really get them to write a DC book and not that showcase book. And that's it.
Well, you mentioned Rosenberg earlier. Wasn't he in like one of the first classes of that?
Let's see. Matthew.
I believe he was.
Which is interesting because I think he didn't really do anything with DC. He did so much stuff with Marvel.
Yeah.
So Marvel picked him up after.
Maybe so.
DC Writing Workshop.
But I think it's cool that he's given back. He's done his thing, so now he wants to give back and bring some fresh voices in. That's cool. So.
Yeah. Joelle Jones was in it. I forgot about that. And I also think Amy Chu might have been in it. Maybe. But there's a couple. There's a couple people that have definitely made their name from it. But think about, I think they accept 12 people, and they've had like I think 3 years of this, and you only get like 2 or 3 names, and 12 people I think within each class. So it's like writers and then 12 artists. And this is also only the writing workshop, which is also interesting because I think in writing it's harder to break in. Just art, you're just like, here's my portfolio, you like it or not, and it's easier to kind of pass that along. So I do think it's not more important, but it is especially important to have the writing workshop. So I can understand why they're trying to retool that maybe for the artist workshop.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty cool. And when it comes to Snyder leaving or not leaving, but he kind of is to do his, creator own stuff, I think that's pretty awesome. I think, when you have an exclusive contract, I think it's a very good thing because obviously that's where the money comes. But at the same time, as a creator or a writer or an artist or whatever it is, it restricts you on what you want to do. So being now that his contract expired, I think that's awesome that now he wants to not re-sign that contract and kind of do some other stuff. I think it's pretty good. That would be it. I don't think this is going to happen, but wouldn't it be insane if like he eventually did stuff at Marvel? That would be insane.
So right now, I think he's still in the contract, so that's why he's still doing the DC stuff. But yeah, once it's like over, I would really like to see that. I would be interested.
What would you like to see him write?
Oof.
That's a good question.
It's just because all he writes is Batman, so it's
yeah,
hard.
no, it's hard. Like, what do you, Daredevil?
Honestly, Captain America, because he's really good at like the history stuff. He's like always looking into history, so I think Captain America would be interesting.
That'd be a good
Daredevil would be a good one.
Yeah.
I think Punisher could be a good one.
Oh, Punisher, yeah, that would be really good.
Punisher, I think can see that because he's shoot, I would even like to see him do a Spider-Man and see what he could do with that character.
That'd be interesting.
I mean, there's so many characters.
I've never seen him write. He'd definitely be flexing a different muscle because I don't think I've ever seen him write comedy. And with Spider-Man, you have to have a comedic bone,
Yeah,
that's true.
So it could be interesting.
Yeah. See what happens. I'm sure one of these days we'll see Snyder do something with Marvel. I'm sure. All right, let's go into. Oh, that was all the news. So we're gonna go into Under the Radar.
All right. So now it is time to do Under the Radar, where we talk about a book that we would like to talk about, whether we read it or whether we don't read it. So for my Under the Radar book this week, what I would like to talk about is Darth Vader issue number 3. Now, Darth Vader, it's been really a long time since the last issue came out, due to the virus and everything. But
absolutely.
But basically, based on what happened in the last issue, we know that Sabby promised Darth Vader and, to show the security recordings of Padme and all the other information that Darth Vader was trying to look for. So, Sabby knows where it is, but she needs to find coordinates or something like that, if I remember correctly. And they meet with the Royal Naboo security forces of the captains Gregor and Tonra, if I got their names right.
Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce his name either.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I liked how when they tried to attack Darth Vader and Sabby told them to stop because they're the people who is going to be the helpful of finding the recordings and stuff like that of where it is and stuff. So we get a little bit of bio about them, that they were Padme's bodyguard, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff that's happened that it went back as a flashback of when when Anakin was with Padme. We get some back and forth moments for that matter. So what was really funny though, and they were underwater and they were fighting this huge big fish and everything when they were underwater, and I like how Darth Vader just sliced it open. I thought that was actually pretty funny. But we get to the part where they did find something, but it wasn't the recordings that Darth Vader was looking for. It was somebody who killed the queen of some other planet and stuff like that. But we did learn one thing, though, from this book. We did learn that she was headed toward Mustafar, which was Vader's domain, and we learned that he killed them while Darth Vader was over there. And that was a huge cliffhanger to be continued. And to be honest, it was an amazing issue. I really enjoyed reading Darth Vader for this week. So, Mike, what's your under the radar book this week?
Oh, I don't think his internet's a little slow.
He's gonna come back, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna come back.
I guess. All right. So while he comes back, let's go to Brand. Do you have under the radar this week?
I do not, because somebody had mine. So go on to Cat.
Oh, well, okay then, Cat. You're under the radar book.
Mine is Cable issue 2. I thought this issue was better than the first, actually. Thought a bit more of a direction where there's a mystery of a mutant baby that goes missing, which obviously is a great connection for Cable because he was a mutant baby that went missing. I also really like the artwork. I liked seeing the cuckoos. I thought they were a lot of fun. Overall, I thought it was a well-balanced issue.
Yeah, I like the stuff with him and Scott too. And then wanted to bring Esme down a peg, and it's just weird to me that Cable's dating all 5 of the cuckoos. It's strange. I don't know how to feel about that. It's weird.
I don't,
because they're all in each other's heads. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even think the cuckoos are liking it too much. I don't even think they like him. So that's interesting.
It's like, what is going on in this book?
It is Hickman's X-Men, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Going back to yours, Michael, real quick while we're waiting for Mike. I thought the interesting thing about Darth Vader was that they basically set him up. They knew that he was responsible, so they cornered him and were trying to set him up. But we all know what actually happened, and he's trying to find out what happened because he knows she actually lived after their encounter.
Right, because like they're just like what I like about the story is that he's trying to find information, and then there's like just a whole big, like just that ending part, like where, like it was like saying like, oh, I should have continued more because that's where it got to the nitty gritty stuff, at the end.
Yeah.
But I really thought it was interesting, and what's really just weird. Usually, I forget books that were that don't come out for months, but then I remember like when they were talking about it again, I was like saying, because I remembered reading it months ago. So, that's what actually gets you sucked into the book. That's really interesting. So that's what was really interesting about Darth Vader. But really good. And Mike is not back yet, so I don't know if the internet gone.
I'm not sure. We could wait for his under the radar, and then if we go through like 2 big books and he's still not back, we could talk about the book he was going to discuss because it's one of the bigger books that came out this week. But when he comes back, I guess I will take over the big books in the meantime. So
5.
That's why I didn't have it under the radar, because it was a big book. I just looked. Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, and there will be spoilers.
Because I deleted some of them off that we didn't all mark down. So if there's some you want to discuss, let me know.
Yeah, no, it's there. We are going to give spoilers. So imagine the Wii U, spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, also spoilers. I don't have it. I'm sorry. I'm not Chris. We also forgot to talk about Injustice Year Zero. I forgot to put it down because the announcement's been kind of weird for this one. I don't know if it's coming out physically or not, and I just want to get it physically. But I think it's cool that they're doing a JSA for the Injustice Gods Among Us, and they released 3 chapters digitally already.
Nice.
So, just to mention that because I saw. But please do not mention any books that came out today, Tevia, because we do not want to talk about the books that came out today. So I'm going to delete that comment because we've talked about that before.
All right, hold on. Mike, you back?
I'm back. You guys hear me?
So your under the radar book?
All right. My under the radar book was actually Wonder Woman issue 759. I thought it was a good start to Tamaki's run. I thought the artwork was actually beautiful. I love the way Wonder Woman was drawn in this book. I felt like she was a strong woman, and it just showed that she was an Amazon, you know. And I loved how like the introduction to the run here was very like relatable. You know, she's moving into her new place. She meets her new roommate, and then you get to see her kind of save the day against, you know, someone that was driving down the street, and you found out that the mom was possessed by what's his name,
Maxwell Lord.
Lord, and I thought that the book was really well done on how to kind of catch up the reader if you haven't read this series before. It gave you kind of like the basics on who Wonder Woman is, who her enemies were, and it didn't just overwhelm you or bog you down with Themyscira history, you know. And I thought I liked this. I thought it was really well paced, and I felt like it got me interested in actually reading the series, where as other first issues from a new creative team just like throw you into a story and you're expected to know everything. So I thought it was cool, and the way it ended, I thought it was cool too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I agree. You go, Brent.
Yep. I was just agreeing too. It was a really good start to this arc, and I keep trying Wonder Woman, and I just can't get into it. But this one, I have hopes for this one. This particular run. It was just I love bringing Maxwell Lord back. You got that rich history between those two, and it just kind of it grounded Wonder Woman again by, you know, putting her in this apartment, having that neighbor that's kind of quirky and kind of gives that human aspect of it, and then you introduce all these psychics and some big plot by Maxwell Lord again, and it's just it was a good issue, strong, and I like the art as well.
Yeah, I like that there's a direction for the book too, because sometimes you have like a start of a really good issue and you're like, oh, that was just a good one issue, but it shows that there's a plot and there's a story arc that's going to happen that also looks interesting. But yeah, I enjoyed the small moments, like the IKEA moment. I thought was probably my favorite. I know people are complaining about it, but I actually really enjoyed that.
I did too. I mean, it's like on one hand, I was like, okay, Wonder Woman's been around for a while. Surely she knows how these things work by now. Yeah. But at the same time, it was fun. But you know what it reminded me of kind of was Jessica Jones and the Purple Man kind of dynamic.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So. Especially because like, again, this book is so character driven, and Mariko is always a very character driven writer, which makes me excited for the rest of it. Yeah. So those were all our under the radars. I think we're gonna go to big books now.
Yep.
So all right.
Top 5.
Yep. All right. So now we're gonna talk about those big books, the ones that came out, the ones that are supposed to be big. Some were studs, some were duds. I don't know. We'll see, and then we'll talk about our top 5 as we go. So we're gonna kick it off with X Factor issue 1. Unfortunately, this was the one book I did not read this week because I looked at that dialogue and I'm like, I'm waiting to the end of this book. And then I started watching other YouTube videos and I'm like, people were saying that this book was not good. So it got me even less excited. So, and I was looking through it and I'm just like, oh man, this looks like just a complete info dump. And I don't know if I'm going to like it. So
I could actually.
Go ahead, Michael.
No, I was just going to say, I could just sum it up in like just a few sentences about the book.
I want 3 sentences, Michael. Only 3.
No, like I agree that the book was dialogue heavy, but it's just the fact that Aurora is dead and Jean Paul gets the X Factor team to find out evidence on who killed Aurora. Like they go to the bartender and then he knows that was some party and she left early. Then there was Polaris who shows up, and then they're
People keep
detectives
showing up.
basically.
That's what happens.
They
in
did
this
keep
book.
showing up.
Everyone just kept
Yeah,
showing up.
It's like, I want to be part of the team. I want to be part of the team. I want to be part of the team.
And even Draken actually showed up in this issue, and he was, I don't know, something told me he was kind of a little shady, like a little
Isn't he always
flirtatious.
shady?
He is always shady.
He's shady, but he also likes to flirt.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, his character was a little annoying to me, a little. I mean, but that's just me. But basically, Rachel just gives information based on her powers about how she died, and you'll have to basically read more. But it was very dialogue heavy, and I'm guessing that there might be X-Men who might come into this for investigations of more about this, and that's where it was left to be continued. I was okay though, in my opinion, but the dialogue was just really, really heavy though.
The dialogue was not good in my opinion. Again, everyone has a subjective feeling of all that, but
but you could just read between the lines. Like if you really look at the comic book,
I don't want to read a comic to get in between the lines though. For me, it's just you want to get to the point and understand why you want to read this book. And for me, there wasn't much of a reason to do so besides Rachel's in it. I'm Rachel's not enough. I love you, Rachel, but this is a heavy.
So was it worth an issue 2?
No,
I see.
Not for me.
This is where I'm differing from everybody because I actually really loved the book.
Did you really?
Yeah, I really did. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of dialogue, but I didn't mind it because I enjoyed the investigative aspects of it and the way that everybody was. What?
You also enjoyed Mary Jane's dancing at issue 1. And
that is true. That is true. Yes, that is true.
He wrote this.
Why did you have to bring that?
This is the same writer who wrote both
It was cute. Anyway. But no, I like the way that they were all just trying to figure out how they fit into the team and what they could bring to the table. And some of them overlapped and it's oh, well, why am I here then if you got that? And, hey, I can do this too. And they were kind of stumbling over each other, but at the same time, they got to the heart of the matter. And I like the way that the 5, I forget what they call them, but they were on board with forming this X Factor team because they need help figuring out which mutants to resurrect and all that stuff, and it kind of made sense. I like the team. I like the team that they put together. It's kind of a quirky team. It's an unexpected team, and and then you got this other thing going on with Polaris and Magneto that I'm sure they're planting seeds for something further down the line. So I enjoyed it.
That's good. Awesome. All right, so I'll probably read it eventually, and then I'll make a decision if I'm gonna read issue 2.
5 comes out, you'll read it.
Yeah, right. I'll be like, I remember that issue 1. Yeah, I never read it, so I'm not gonna read it. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, more and more books are coming out now, so it'll be harder to catch up on stuff.
More X-Men books too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of X-Men books, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about X-Men issue 10. This was the Empire tie-in. Man, oh man, you want to talk about a weak tie-in issue. This was it. I mean, you had, was it Vulcan, and you had a couple other, what was it, Shay?
A couple other is definitely what I would say.
A couple other
I don't know who the 2 girls were.
Right, and they're
Vulcan,
drinking
and Sway.
Okay. Yeah. And they're drinking martinis, and they want to get hot and heavy with him, and he's like, nah, I'm going to go for a walk.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really? Okay, fine. Go for your walk. Comes across the Katati, right? And they wind up coming across some warriors that are there. And he's like, you don't want to get me angry. And he get him angry. They're trying to get the truth from him. And he burns everything on fire. Then come the girls and be like, let's go back and party. Okay. And then it's just then they report back to the Katati that on the other part of the moon or whatever it is. And they're like, yes, there was one warrior. His last words were Krakoa. And so that's how it ties in. And I'm like, what? Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, it was kind of weak. I mean, they tried to tie it into something else, where he was taken and examined and all this stuff, and like there's some deep dark part of him that's not unlocked yet or whatever. I wasn't feeling this at all. Yeah, I agree.
This X-Men. Why do I have a whole issue about him? I did not
No.
this issue. I didn't need their drinks. I don't read Empire. I literally just didn't like this issue, or again, it just wasn't in my taste at all. And especially because we haven't had X-Men in such a long time. That was the biggest disappointment. Be like, oh.
Wouldn't you like to see something different out of this? Well, obviously, yes, but wouldn't you like to see, like, since the whole Summers family lives on that moon,
on the beach, yeah.
I would have loved to seen them interact with the Katati that was on the moon and having their home overrun and have a much more impactful or meaningful issue where it was just like, it was just there to throw it in there. There was no reason for it. This is something that could have easily not taken place, in an X-Men book and just skipped right over it. But
instead, they're off on a beach in Shi'ar space somewhere.
But see, I would rather see their family vacation and them not like each other than what I saw with this.
Yeah, I agree. It was just weird. It's like, okay, you got this whole major event going on. All the Summers are just chilling at the beach. Vulcan's like,
that's the best panel of the book, though. Like that was my favorite part. I didn't mind them having their margaritas. Like at least it had like a little flavor to it, like a little personality to the book.
Yeah. It just shows you that on the moon, it's always an orgy party. That's basically what it is. It's just like we've seen that with Scott and Wolverine and Jean Grey, or they got their little thing going on, and then these three got their thing going on, and they're always drinking, partying, going to the beach. There's always something going on. It's just weird.
Yeah, I just want to see the Summer family. I don't think we've seen enough of them.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see where the real issue goes from here. All right, so then let's talk about our number 5s. Brant, what was your number 5 this week?
Mine was actually Empire. I'm enjoying it. I know some have dropped it. Chris, who is not here,
are you saying like, are you trying to call someone out that's here that dropped the book, or?
No, I know you did. I was getting there. I know that not everybody's enjoying it, but Kat and I usually disagree on these kind of things. So.
Brant, I just want to say that I actually, when it comes to the tie-ins, I'm not a fan of them, except maybe the Captain Marvel book I actually like. But when it comes to the main event, I don't think it's as bad as maybe we thought it was going to be. I think it's actually a decent read.
Yeah, I think it's progressively gotten a little bit stronger for me. At first, I was like kind of iffy, but with this issue, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed kind of the conflict with Teddy and trying to figure out, where his loyalties actually lie and what he's actually going to do and if he's a figurehead and all that stuff. And
Teddy one shot? I thought that was really good.
No, I don't think I did. I don't think I've read many of the one-shot stuff yet.
That was pretty good. I enjoy. I like the side. See, I'm the opposite. I've been enjoying the side stories so much more than the main story. Like I've been on Empire X-Men. I thought that was better than this week's X-Men.
I thought the twist with the Kree that was actually a Skrull and who she was related to was really interesting. That was a really cool cliffhanger.
Yeah, that was out. Yeah, that was quite interesting. I did not expect that to happen. And then obviously you finally get to see what the Katati are at Earth for, right? Because that was the thing. It wasn't, oh, I just want to take over Earth. They really want to take over the galaxy. And in order to do that, they needed to get to Wakanda to take the vibranium soil so they can spread across the galaxy. So that's honestly what they're there for. And then for Teddy to make he had that conflict of what to do with Captain Marvel, like you said, was quite interesting. But then, what's his name? Black Panther wound up asking for the sword, right? Yeah. And he's like, "What are you gonna? Does it mean sacrificing somebody?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, have fun with it." So I thought that was kind of cool too. So now you're still left to see on the table what's he going to do with that sword, and how he could possibly save the day or whatnot. So I thought it was an interesting book.
Yeah, I did too.
So I'm curious to hear like what other people like. Why do you dislike the book?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I only read the first issue, so I can only tell you from that. But it's just not a world I'm invested in by any means. That's why I personally don't like it. But I enjoyed the Fantastic Four stuff. I thought those tie-ins were interesting. But I really hate Avengers. Like I thought that was super boring.
You get, and then you also get Mantis that's thrown in here too, because she's obviously the mother of Koi, who's the main bad guy here, and so she's going to have an influence in this as well. So again, there's a lot of things here. Again, we don't know what the ramifications are going to be with this when it's all done, but we'll see what happens. Again, we have seen obviously the same, the plot, Earth is taken over and whatnot. So I want to see how it's different. That's really what I'm wanting to see.
Yeah. And even though the Krakoa thing was kind of silly to mention in X-Men, I definitely want to see how that ties in, because Krakoa is a living island, right? And the Kotati are when those two things collide. So.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we'll move on to Kat. What was your number 5, Kat?
Mine was Spider-Man. I thought this was a better issue than last. I enjoyed seeing Carly again. I thought that was cool, and I still don't really love Sin Eater. The middle part was the thing I didn't love, but I like that Peter knows how to feel when he ditches Mary Jane. I thought that was pretty cool. And overall, it was a better issue than the last, but I mean, like we were saying before, I don't think it's on the level it once was, and I hope it picks up. But I haven't loved Spider-Man since the J. Jonah Jameson stuff, so hopefully we get that vibe again, or we just progress the Kindred story.
Yeah, I mean, this was like number 6 on my list, so I thought it was better. I thought, obviously, with Bagley's artwork, visually, it was, I liked it better. And I thought this was a good book for you to kind of understand who Sin Eater is and all the players involved. But at the same time, I'm like, I want to just get through this because I want to know who Kindred is already. Like, I just want to know. I just want to get past all the stalling. Like, what's the point of, putting Sin Eater in this book, besides a history lesson? So that's that's really, just introduce the character, man. That's all. I am very frustrated with this dragging it out type of thing.
But didn't they introduce Sin Eater in the prelude issue? Like the last one?
They did, but
they kind of
did. They still gave you more of a history lesson in this one. So you kind of, it was just like, it still went back to like who he was and who he affected and things like, it still recapped stuff. So it was just another recap issue.
He does that a lot in Spider-Man. He does like a lot of like 5 pages of, do you want to know the history of this character?
Yeah.
Even though, like Michael just said, we had a whole issue about it.
It feels like, looking back on his entire run, and I love, I love his writing, and I love certain aspects of his Spider-Man, but looking back, it's like, oh, I want to write all these obscure Spider-Man villains and bring them back into the the rogues gallery and just kind of play with all that.
Like, I feel like there's so far, like, why is he here?
Yeah, exactly, and I agree. So it's like, So I'm with you, Mike, too. That I just want to get to who Kindred is at this point. Yeah. It's just like, come on.
Yeah, it's like you put Boomerang in a story because you wrote him before, right?
Yeah.
2 issues ago, you put him in, 2 issues ago, you put Overdrive in the story because he was in your story before.
Yeah.
We had a story with Beetle in it because he was in your story before. I get it. You like those characters because you wrote them before, but that all creates a stall in the complete series, and that's what I have a problem with. If you want to write other story arcs, that's good, but get to the get to the meat with the whole thing that you've been trying to tell the whole time. It's just, I don't know. It's just very frustrating. I know people, I'm starting to get how people felt with like, almost like his Captain America run. I get like they completely changed the character and that story took forever to tell. And this story here is taking forever to tell.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If Kindred doesn't like blow our socks off, it's going to, I can see so many people being so negative about this. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if it's not such a big reveal, it's going to be like, what? Why did I just waste all this time? So.
Absolutely. All right. Any other comments on Spider-Man?
I'm good.
All right. So, Michael, what was your number 5?
Mine was also Amazing Spider-Man issue number 45.
Okay, cool. All right. And mine was Darth Vader issue 3 and the book that we talked about. I thought it was a very cool ending to that book. I really liked it. And I did not see that setup happening at the end. And obviously Darth Vader is going to prevail because if he died, then there would be no Return of the Jedi. So we know he lives. So it's not spoiled anything. All right. So, and then next we were going to talk about Empire, but we already talked about that book. So we're going to go on to number 4. And my number 4 was Empire, so I don't have to talk about that anymore. So that just keeps us rolling here, right? So we'll move on to Michael for your number 4 book.
My number 4 book would be Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue number 47. What I really liked about this book is that the new 52s, Red Hood and the Outlaws, actually appeared in this comic book. And I know, Mike, you were going to say that you...
I'm sorry, I was laughing at the comment because they were saying that Kindred is Aunt May.
Oh, no. No.
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, but
that would be worth the wait, actually.
That would be. So this book basically talks about, that the Untitled has the hostages, and you have Jason Todd's team who need to stop the Untitled, whereas Bizarro is fighting with Trigon because Trigon wants to try to open the gate so he can take over the world. And Jason Todd and the team of Essence, General Glory, and the Proctor Suru, they have to try to close the gate. That way Trigon doesn't invade the whole world and everything. And I like the whole Trigon Bizarro moment of like that happening, like the story that's actually building up. And when you get the story of them trying to close it together, because also Artemis tries to keep the team in shape with trying to close the gate, we have, more of the entities of the Untitles that come after them. And at the end, we have the Outlaws, which is Jason Todd, Corey, and Roy, who come in to actually give a helping hand with the whole thing. And it's like, Bizarro defeated Trigon, so what now? To be continued. This makes me want to just see what happens next, just to know that the new 52's Red Hood came in. But to me, I felt this to be a great issue.
Nice. Glad you're liking it. So we'll see what happens when this is all done, and then we get a new creative team on the book. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be interesting. All right. So let's see where we at. We're at number 4. So we'll move on to Brant for yours.
Mine is a book we already talked about, Wonder Woman, number 759.
Wonder Woman. Cat.
Mine was Cable. We already discussed it.
Cable time. All right. So that was quick. I'm looking at some kind of moth or bee that's flying around in my freaking garage. It's fun.
Hope it's not a bee.
Yeah, right. Don't want to do that. All right. So next we're going to be talking about is Suicide Squad. So finally, I have managed, we have managed to get Kat over to Suicide Squad. It took 7 issues and her to binge read it once again to finally jump on board, and finally is addicted to it now because of Tom Taylor's wonderful writing here. So
he did a good job with this issue, I have to say. I'll say I enjoyed it from maybe like last issue. I was like, oh, this is starting to get good. And then I really liked this issue. But I will say I think it's a better binge read. Like I reread those issues. And I'm like, I get why I didn't like them. And it took a while to get there, but I'm happy. I've enjoyed it and excited to see where it goes, the whole Ted Cord stuff. And obviously, like, Deadshot's going to die, it seems like, and what that means for his daughter and all that. This issue, man, hit you in the heartstrings. I loved his daughter in it. I liked the whole family dynamic, and I liked that it was really action-packed. I thought it was like a very well-balanced issue. Perfectly balanced, honestly.
If this whole series is just a way to give us like Deadshot's opus or whatever, I'm happy with it. You know, it was just it's such a strong Deadshot story it became, especially with this issue, and the stuff with his daughter. I loved it too, and just like that emotion that he's just like bearing his soul to his family and trying to reconnect, and he's finally free, but he's not really, and all that stuff going on, and then sees his daughter in that outfit, and it's like, oh no. It's like, crap, what have I done?
She's going to be a hero or a villain, though, because this is a book about villains. So it's just like, right now they're the good guys, but is she a good guy? Is she becomes a villain? Like, I like that kind of complicated moral compass there.
Yeah.
It's very like, oh, I want to be called Live Shot because I want to see people live. And I was like, oh, man, that's crazy. And I didn't expect her to start coming out and shooting people with a bow and arrow, man.
It's just like you see this arrow fly. It's like, what?
Oh, that was crazy. Yeah. And I did a theory video saying that, you know, will his daughter will who replace him? And I mentioned that that it could be his daughter, because everything that we saw in there kind of hints to that. Because if he dies in issue 9 that everyone is supposedly saying, right, then she would be pissed off that he's dead. Does she become a hero? Does she become a villain? Does she become an anti-hero? Or does she join this new Suicide Squad? And, you know, Tom Taylor's not hesitating to kill off people. Mm-hmm. And if there's one main person that he could kill off, it's Deadshot, and he's already found that replacement for him, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that he won't come back, or maybe he fakes his death, but it's something to think about, actually.
Yeah,
they introduced her for a reason. It wasn't just for this issue. Definitely, we're gonna see more of her in some regard.
Yeah, there was so much unexpected stuff that happened in this issue. It's just like you weren't expecting his daughter to be happy to see him. You weren't expecting her to, you know, brandish an outfit and have his talents, have his skills, and you weren't expecting her to shoot the arrow. And it's crazy. So
yeah, it was a page turner, man. And I love that last issue when he interacts with Batman. I thought that was freaking awesome. That last issue too, man. It was so funny.
And the artwork is so freaking good for this book too. And that's one thing I've been enjoying, obviously. But yeah, very happy how this kind of definitely not flagship book has somewhat turned into a flagship book for DC.
Mm-hmm.
This is a book, Michael, that I think you would actually enjoy. This is something that's kind of, I think it would be up your alley, you know, something that, probably, you know, it's there.
I mean, probably. I mean, I really haven't read that much Suicide Squad, so.
You don't have to, though. That's the great thing about this. Like, I haven't read that much Suicide Squad in the past either, but this is a completely different team with a couple of original members in there. And it starts fresh.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
All you really got to know about the Suicide Squad is they're villains that were contracted by the government, have bombs put in their head to do the government's bidding. That's it. And then that
changes in like issue 3. So like all of that, like they don't even have the bombs in their head anymore. I was recommending the Michael some books because next week he like has nothing. So I was like, you should read like Firepower. Tom Taylor has his new Boom book coming out. So I was like, try some new books. That way, you know, get some stuff on your pull list.
Yep. I mean, all right. So let's move on. Yeah. Great book. Can't wait to read more. All right. So
we're going to move on. Sorry.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say Suicide Squad would have been my under the radar if it wasn't our big books. So
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. So so we're moving on to our number 3. My number 3 this week was actually Captain Marvel issue 18.
Mine too.
This is really
Oh,
wow.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought this was a good book. I mean, it sets a new status quo for the character, and her handling this responsibility. You find out it's not easy for her, and I like that. And then she discovers that she has what? She has a half sister. So,
I really like that ending. And then she like ditches everything. She's like, all right, I'll help you out.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. But yeah, I also like just Kelly Thompson exploring her new power. I agree. I thought that was really fascinating. I've been enjoying this volume. I think it's had a couple misses, but mostly hits for this book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That. Yeah. This. That was it. The first arc that we weren't crazy about.
yeah, the
And then-
original arc. Yeah,
Captain Marvel stuff I don't think was as good as it could have been, but it wasn't
Yeah.
horrible. But then stuff like this and the arc after, also the filler issue. I loved the
Yeah.
filler issue where they had their whole game night thing. So
Yeah, that was really good. And this was, as far as tie-ins go, this was a fantastic one, I think.
this makes
'Cause, I mean,
sense. This
yeah.
really makes sense for a tie-in.
Yeah, and especially with her history with the Kree, and to accept that mantle to be the accuser, and then, like you said, finding out she has this half sister that's, it's just like her whole family tree has exploded on her, and recently. So it's just, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and the art is really strong in this book too. So
Yeah. Then look for that. I mean, this could be like somewhat of a key book because again, it's a new status quo for her. It's the first
Yeah.
issue that that she has this power. And again, this is something that you look for in event. That this is something that adds value to a character. It means something. Hopefully she has this power for a while, or she's going to do something, or Kelly Thompson has a reason for her to have it, and it's not just for this tie-in and then she loses it. I hope that's not the case, so we'll see. All right, so that was your guys' number 3, so that made it easy. So we'll go to Michael to get your number 3. I'm going to get a bottle of water real quick.
Oh, well, it's a book we already talked about. X Factor issue number 1.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm getting that water anyway.
Okay.
and
Let's see what
our next 2 big books we've already talked about too.
I was just saying, like, to choose tops 3 through 1 was actually really tough, but I figured when we talked about before about the heavy dialogue, I figured that X Factor number 1 should go to number 3 though. But it was really tough top 5 to do this week, so
Yeah.
that's why I put it as number 3.
All right, so we're moving on then to number 2 then, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
All right, number 2 is a book we already talked about, guys. That one right there.
2. That was my number 2.
Wow.
We might have the same top 3.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that Jim Lee variant. That one was that's a nice looking cover.
Yeah.
All right. So that was that yours too, Brent?
No, my
Oh, okay.
one
What was yours
number
then?
5 or something. Yeah. My number 2 was actually X Factor. So
X Factor. Wow. You
Number
had
1
that
did.
shit up high.
I liked it. I really liked it.
Man, that's crazy. All right. Now I gotta read it just because I just want to see if I'm on Kat's side or if I'm on Brant's side or if I'm like kind of in the middle with Michael there. I'm really curious to see, what it's like.
Yeah.
I like Rachel's dog. That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
So
Amazing baby.
baby was pretty cute.
All right. So let's see. Michael, what was yours? Your number 2?
Yeah, my number 2, and I'm really excited about that this came out. Robin Hood Justice, issue number 1. Now, this follows up where in the last volume of how there were the police robots that were chasing after Robin Hood and Emmett, and then the whole underground people, they like really had nowhere to go and everything. So this kind of leads to a new volume where they're trying to reach Tatter, both Robin and Emmett, And would there be no signal because they've been in this lockdown house for 30 days, and that was like really something for that. But then there's the biggest plot of this was Mayor Voorhees something, who says that there's like no Inhumans and weirdos that should be in New York City, from what she said. So she invented a new generation called the Vigilante bots. And these Vigilante bots, unlike the ones from the last issue, have more of an upgrade. And the demonstration they did was a success, but very aggressively in you know, in a way how, you know, because I feel bad for Robin's character because of going through that, you know, is going to be really something else for her. But we see the return of Seamstress, who returns in this issue. And as Robin goes out to help them, we do see a Vigilante bot who she does go after. The Vigilante bot goes after her, and she destroyed it. But the thing is, with Emmett being home all alone, he got possessed by probably Seamstress, and Robin comes back late in time to not save him, and that's to be continued. Oh boy, that leads to a huge cliffhanger.
Mike's like, "Yo, yeah, I'm hooked, baby."
No, it was like no, at the end of the issue, I was like, "This seriously." Oh boy, like, you know,
I'm
just
curious what
seriously.
your number one is. If that's your number two.
Yeah, right.
His number one is gonna be like, oh boy.
Wow.
Oh, double oh boy.
It'll be yeah, macho man.
Dig it.
It's on to come out because I'm guessing that's the only thing that could top that.
Yeah,
Alright.
that was number two.
We got that was everybody's number two, right?
Yep.
All right. So, and now we'll just jump on to the number one book, and my number one's probably pretty obvious: Suicide Squad issue 7.
Mine too.
Oh, it was mine.
Oh
Wow.
yeah! Or a Macho Man would say, "Oh yeah!" He would always he would point with his pinky.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
That was very macho.
Yeah.
And now we got to hear what Michael's number one is.
Darth Vader issue number 3.
Wow, that's just,
Yeah.
Cool.
So we talked about that. All right, so next we move on to the chopping block. Not much going on there, but I have a feeling I know who's that chopping block is there on the board.
I gotta give it to X Factor. Amazing Baby is not enough for issue 2. I got
an amazing baby.
I got Jeff the Land Shark. I might just
That's
read
true.
all of the scenes in Deadpool. I won't be reading Deadpool. I'll only be reading Jeff.
Oh my god.
They got to do a new version of Avengers Pets and that, and you know, or Marvel Pets, and have Jeff the Land Shark and Amazing Baby
I would
be the
want
central characters. There you go.
I would want that. You know, in the next, so Deadpool, Emma Frost is holding Jeff the Land Shark. She's petting her. I'm like, whoa, I just need to see that.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I saw that. I saw that when you posted it on there. I thought that was fun. I'm like, at first I'm like, who gives a shit? It's just Emma Frost. And then I'm like, what's so? I'm like, really? What's so big about this picture? And then I noticed, I'm like, it's Jeff the Land Shark. I'm like, that's what it is. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, that. It came to like this lame picture of just Emma Frost, right? To Jeff the Land Shark.
Frost, it's lame. If she's in it, it's a great picture.
Oh, jeez. All right. So, anybody else had anything that they were going to chop?
No.
I heard he was going to chop Robin Hood. He didn't want to see what happened next. He was done with it.
Yeah.
Are you done with Robin Hood, Michael?
Yeah. Michael, Robin Hood, you're chopping it?
No, I thought it was a good issue.
No, why not chop it?
Why?
Next issue.
Just kidding.
You're not allowed to have good books, Michael.
Oh, wow.
Come on, we're so close. We're so close to having full power of Comic Book Weekly.
Yeah.
Just one member away from almost having a full show. We got to get back to it, right? We got to get back to the way it was.
We do. I hope in 2 weeks, because I know, well, maybe even next week. Well, Mike left. He's like, no, not even tonight. Depending how tennis camp goes for Mike next week. I have a feeling we've been too lucky. So I do have a feeling it's going to be 2 weeks from now. Also depends on how Brant's going with his moving, and if I don't need surgery for this foot. It's going to be lots going on. We're trying, and we are hoping we'll have a full show. But I guess we're going to key issues because we lost Mike. Hopefully he comes back. We almost had a full show. I love right when he's talking about that. That's what I
know, right? It's like
we had a full show, people.
Yeah, we're cursed. All right, so I'll skip over a couple of these that were just Mike. We'll go to Justice League number 50, just because it's a milestone issue. I want to see. Like I haven't read it the past few issues because I've heard it wasn't great. So I'm gonna pick up issue 50, see what it's like, and kind of base whether I continue on with it from that. So,
I forget. Did they say who the new writer is for Justice League? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I'd have to look
it
it up.
Is it John Paul Williamson for the whole thing, or was it just an arc?
I thought it was just for an arc. Yeah, it might be. I don't remember.
People going through that revolving door with Justice League, I can't tell you.
It's because they can't figure out what to do with it. Let's see. Let's go to Firepower. So, Cat,
I really like. Did you not read the first issue?
I did not. I haven't. I forgot to read it. I meant to go back and read it, and then I've been busy. So
I recommend the first issue because there's re-release tomorrow. So if you guys didn't get the free comic book day book, I'm actually going to get it again because I want to have both in the collection. But I really liked issue 1, and it was kind of this cool family dynamic. It felt a little different from what Kirkman's been doing, even though it still does have the family stuff. It feels a little bit more grounded and modern because you don't have like the post-apocalyptic world or a superhero world. It's now a martial arts kind of mythical world, and with issue 1, the guy who's been kind of like Iron Fist, he comes back and he quits, so he's like a family man now. And obviously his past comes to haunt him, and I'm honestly really curious to see because the family doesn't know anything about this, like about his past. So I'm honestly really curious to see, because it's a Kirkman book, how are they going to be involved, and will they get like powers of some sort? And I really liked it, and I like the artwork too. So I'm excited for issue 2. It's probably the book I'm most excited about for this coming week. Yeah. We're talking about Firepower.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard us. We're talking about Firepower, Mike. If you got anything to add on that. Can you hear us? In 1 second, okay. Okay.
Red Mother both come out next week. I don't think Red Mother comes out this week. So we mean next week is the next Wednesday?
We're talking about stuff that comes out tomorrow, or today and tomorrow.
Yeah, does Red Mother come out next week? Red Mother
comes out.
Red Mother comes out
next week. Yeah.
Red comes next week.
Yeah, next week. Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about Firepower, Mike, when you get a chance. Otherwise.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I feel like I'm on a delay. Yeah, I can hear you okay.
I'm
you are.
Okay, so maybe. Firepower. I'm excited for Firepower.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's good. I think the first issue was great. I think the prelude was great. And now they have issue 1 and 2 coming out. Is it like an official 1?
Yeah, it's the one, so not the free. Well, it's going to be the same story, but for people that read just digitally, I don't think it came out digitally. So they're re-releasing it as the official issue 1. I'm getting it just for the collection, honestly.
Right, but it's the same exact story. Nothing different about it.
Maybe they'll have extras in it, but I don't think so.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool. All right, and we also talked about Justice League. I don't think you marked that one down though.
No, when Robert Venditti left, and I read one issue of that, whatever that story was, and I remember Chris hated it. He was like, because I listened to the show, and he's like, I'm hating this. I'm dropping it. I'm not until there's a creative. I'm right there with Chris. Like, I'm off of Justice League until we get a solid creative team on there.
Yeah, I understand that completely. All right, so let's talk Bad Mother #1 from AWA.
Not Red Mother, Bad Mother.
Yeah, Bad Mother, not Red Mother.
What is that one about?
It's about a bad mother.
Let me see. I'll look it up real quick. None of us know. Let's see. Mike Deodato is behind it.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I know you're not.
How did you say that, Brand? That's the magic word.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so a nerve-wracking thriller from crime writer Krista Faust and blockbuster artist Mike Deodato Jr. April Walters is a hit-and-run victim of life, a middle-aged soccer mom whose inner fire has been snuffed out by her dreary suburban existence when her teenage daughter goes missing under mysterious circumstances. April embarks on a harrowing mission to find her, a journey that takes her through the underbelly of her suburban community and sets her on a collision course with a massive crime syndicate and its lethal matriarch. Tested to her limits and beyond, April discovers that hell hath no fury like a mother scorned. See,
that sounds so up my alley, but the one that also sounded up my alley, I really didn't like. So I don't know if I'm going to try this one out. And also the artwork. So, and again, nothing against Mike Deodato, but it's never been.
It's just not your style. Yeah, it's never been your favorite. Yeah,
very my thing.
Yeah,
I'll check it out because I've checked everything out from that company. I'm really happy with them. I think some of their stuff is really creative.
Yeah. So I'll probably try it out too. Let's see. We got Young Justice #17. Should be interesting. It's going to be focusing on the core team of Bart and Connor and Cassie and that like original Jeff Johns team. So I'm excited for that focus.
I'll
instead
never
of
get
all these
Young Justice, but
okay.
Reading it.
Yeah. I've enjoyed it. I want to know more about how they're coping with everything, and I want to know more about Bart and everything. So we'll see how it goes from there, though. If they're going to do this whole Young Justice League thing or not, I don't know. But,
we'll see.
Yeah. All right. We got Deceased Dead Planet #2. I don't read it.
I really enjoyed that first issue. I was a little lukewarm on the first volume, but that was like Injustice, Gods Among Us stuff for that first issue. So
the end of it was crazy, right?
Yeah, it was. Green Arrow died, and then Black Canary / Green Lantern, because she's a Green Lantern now, killed or at least stabbed John. So damn, it was a crazy issue. I know, and they found out that there was more for this, and that she shouldn't have killed those people.
Yeah, I think this book is awesome, and I think in many ways it might be better than it's going to be better than the first run at it. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited for this.
But are you excited for Darton? Oh, sorry, Kat. Go ahead.
I was just saying there's a lot of DC books. Oh, we got Euros.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate that a lot.
Love Euros.
Yeah.
So the question is, are you excited for Dark Knight's Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knights #1? Say that 3 times fast.
Dude, that is the longest title in like comic book history right there.
Shoot.
From what I heard, it's kind of crazy. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys because when I did my top 10 most anticipated list I do every week, at first this book was on my hot seat, which is the book I'm thinking about buying because this kind of is like, I guess short stories or whatever it is. And people were telling me like, this is a huge spec book. And I think because it has to do with like the Robin King or whatever it is, and just all these different stories. And I heard that it was very dark. This was a very dark book. So it went from being this book I wasn't going to get to a book that I'm interested in reading. So I'm looking forward to it, I guess. So a lot of people think it's going to be hard to get, though.
Yeah.
It's going to sell very quickly.
My store, so I got an email today. My store, it might not even be getting DC books tomorrow. So it's definitely going to be hard to get at my store because I won't be getting any.
Is it because of the storm?
I think it's the storm. And also they said it was the distributor. It was the printer. It was like everything. So I'm like, I don't think they're going to come tomorrow. I'm going to have to read them digitally for tomorrow. I like getting the show up on Wednesday, but I'm going to try waiting it out because I usually go like right when the store opens. I usually go at 12, but I'm going to try waiting a little bit tomorrow.
Yeah.
A lot of distribution issues when it comes to different places. A couple of weeks ago, it was me. My store had issue with a lot of their books as well. There was DC books too, so it's like, it's such a shame, man. I just can't get consistent service,
especially for the store. I mean, they're not going to make as well. They're not going to make as well out, especially when they announced that. I mean, someone only has a DC pull list and they're like, oh, well, I'll go later. They stack up their pull list for the next week and, they're not making their money.
Yeah. It's so weird. I've never been one to sing Diamond's praises, but at the same time, when you look at how it works without them all under that one house, I don't know, it's very complex and it's not working out so well.
And you know what's so crazy, and I kind of forgot about this, is that it's delayed to Wednesday or Thursday, but the book comes out today, right? Because I get my books on Wednesday, still consider in my mind it comes out on Wednesday, but literally came out today. So that means like the people who went to the store for Tuesday for DC Comics have to wait 2 days. They won't even get on Comic Wednesday. They might have to wait for Comic Thursday. And obviously that's not the fault of my store, but like just because of distributing with Diamond and Lunar and whatever else is DC is teaming up with. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. All right, so we got one more book to talk about. Batman number 96, part 2 of the Joker War.
Oh, Harley's getting that scar. I'm so excited.
Man, that's going to be some good stuff. I can't wait to see what is in store for her and the battle between her and Punchline and just everything that's going on with that whole storyline. I think is just going to be really, really good. Yeah,
I really like the first part too. So it's better than I expected so far. So hopefully it keeps that momentum going.
I think I started really getting into it once everyone started like getting stabbed and
Harley gets her throat slit. That's it. So
that's all it took.
She gets her throat slit. She gets thrown in the sewers.
Yeah,
and it is just like Catwoman gets shot, and it's just like the designer is not really anybody. It's just the Joker, and just you get all those things going on, and I don't know, man. And the last issue is kind of cool. You get to see Joker have all Batman's toys, which is kind of cool. And Lucius Fox is possessed by the Joker toxin, and he's doing work for him. It's a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, for sure.
Better than Tom King stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah. It definitely is.
Yeah, man. Very different.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, very different.
All right, so that's it for key issues.
All right, guess we are wrapping up the show. So, Michael, do you want to take us away?
Well, wait, does anybody have any news they want to talk about? Anything coming up?
I have one thing. There's 1 week left for the giveaway that Chris and I are doing, sharks.shootingstaruniverse.com, giving away Flash Season 5 Blu-ray, Jaws board game, Jaws Funko, and what was the other thing? Superboy Volume 1 that had the first appearance of King Shark in it. So go check that out and enter while you can.
All right. Mike, Kat, any news from any of you?
Just that we still have a tie in our poll for the panel, so definitely go vote if you can.
Yeah, and
All
I
right.
just wanted to say real quick that I'll be back on 2 weeks from now on a regular basis once again. So, guys, we'll be full strength hopefully then. And I just want to say thank you for watching and being patient with us. It's been a rough summer for us, and we got a lot of stuff going on, and we're not making excuses. We still love each other. We're not kicking anybody off. It's just we're just very busy time of year for all of us.
Yeah. I mean, all kinds of stuff going on. You wouldn't even believe it. You'd think we were making it up.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like you're just making excuses. Like no, this is all literally
and all simultaneously too. Yeah.
All right, and for me for news, I've uploaded some videos for my YouTube channel, including some more parts to the blind playthrough that I am happily saying I'm getting great views on for Paper Mario: The Origami King. So, and just to sum it up, just for those who didn't understand what I meant when I talked about this last time, what a blind playthrough is.
Oh, the blind blindfold where you put the blindfold on? Yeah, I remember. I listened to that. That was awesome.
Now, hear me out. A blind playthrough is where you play a video game and you never played it before. Mike, come on.
They need a new name for sure.
I had to chime in. I had to chime in on this just because everybody else was doing it. I just have to put in my.
But I'm just saying for those.
I know what a blind.
Yeah, it's just a game you go in.
So you could get in on the joke, Mike. Michael's like, I need to mention this again, just that way Mike can
I'm just saying because it's really an awesome name that I came up with, and it's something new. So that's why it's called a blind playthrough. It's something new for me. Didn't look up YouTube or anything. But it's working out really well. I'm having fun with it. And
so he hasn't cheated for this one, and he didn't look up any videos beforehand.
Yeah, but hopefully you guys will go check it out and subscribe to the channel also, as well as all of us here. Once again, congrats to Mike for 7,000 subscribers and Kat's 14,000 subscribers.
That's awesome, guys.
Once again.
So cool.
Thank you.
And this is another episode of Comic Book Weekly. So this is all of us here saying have a good night. Enjoy your comic books tomorrow, or almost today, actually, since it's almost tomorrow. And don't forget also to, on top of Cat's Head, subscribe to us, where we have lots of things, and hopefully the right finger will point you to it. Top of Brand's head is the notification bell, so you'll be notified on videos and live streams I will be doing. Below Mike's, all the medias. We could contact us at Comic Frontline on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And the one over here is where you can give it the thumbs up if you've enjoyed what you see. And yeah, so that's all of all this for how you'll be known to sub and do anything for Comic Frontline. So until next time. What?
This is the longest outro.
So good night, everybody, and we'll see you later.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, guys.